Yo, what's good YouTube? It's your boy Vade, aka Pro Benchwoman. Today I'm bringing you another Duel Links video, but it's not with duels this time. I've been trying out a couple decks here and there, but today we got hit in the notifications and it says that we are getting new cards on the Forbidden Limited list and a skill rebalance. So the skills that they're rebalancing, since I want to talk about that first, one is completely like not seen at all. It's Creator, which while the skill itself is like okay at best, it's like that Harpy's Feather Duster skill. There's too much required to get very little reward, and I don't think Creator is going to be any better after like picking this up. Like, oh yeah, the cards added to your hand using the skill will be stronger, but like I don't, unless it's like Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of Beginnings, or like Envoy to End, or whatever the hell that card is, something like that. I don't think it's worth it. But the thing I want to talk about is balance. It says that the skill is being used to ensure certain cards being in the player's starting hand will readjust it to how to add an element of randomness to the skill. It's weird that you want to add randomness to the skill balance. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, because you made the skill to do a certain thing. Like, there's a reason why balance is in the game. It's because it's reflective. Your starting hand is reflective of what's in the deck. Depending on what cards you have in the deck and the balance of your deck, you determines your balance, your starting hand. Let's say I have 5 spells, 5 traps, and 10 monsters. Sure, I'm gonna have 2 monsters, 1 spell, 1 trap. It's not guaranteed the exact monsters I get in my hand, but you do fit the ratio. Where they're saying where it's certain cards are being in the playing starting hand. This is with decks like Red Eyes, Black Dragon, like the normal one, because the way it is 5 monsters, 5 spells, 10 traps, and the spells usually being either Cards of the Red Stone or Red Eyes Insight, so you kind of get the cards you need to get going through the spells. Sure, I understand that. This is the skill that pretty much stacks our deck. It's the only skill we have that stacks our deck that way, because when you run Red Eyes, you literally have a starting hand of a Red Eyes in hand, either a card that mills that Red Eyes to draw 2 cards, or a card that mills a Red Eyes from the deck to get a specific trap from the deck that you need for the skill, for the deck to keep going, and 2 traps in hand, possibly 2 Red Eyes Insights, 2 Red Eyes Spirits, possibly 2 Champions Vigilances, other counter traps, and so on and so forth. So it does stack that deck per se, but let's not just talk about Red Eyes when it comes to balance being a skill like that. Ice Barriers also ran balance because it guaranteed you 3 monsters, the possibility of them being 3 different Ice Barrier monsters, being totally up to the balance of the monsters in your deck, and also 5 spells, 3 of which being the triangle, and then 2 being Mori Agreed, so you can shuffle to get the triangle, and 3 random Ice Barrier monsters. So I mean, being a person that hit King of Games with Ice Barriers, sure, that skill can be a little broken, but for the most part, I feel like this is just Konami finally making action, because they noticed that people were abusing the skill to guarantee stuff, and that's more so the player base rather than the skill itself being broken, because that skill in like farming decks, easy peasy, helps me get 2 monsters, a spell, and a trap, and keep me going. Like, I like balance when it comes to making farming decks, but when it comes to decks that were specifically engineered to guarantee cards in the hand to get the deck going, sure, I can understand their part on that. But making balance random doesn't make any sense to me, because it just goes away from the name of the skill, balance. But who knows, we'll see what they do with it. Hopefully it doesn't nerf it too bad like Switcheroo and Harpy's Hunting Ground, but with their track record so far, it might be that we never see balance used again. Who knows. Creator, I already said, Creator is not that good at the moment. I believe that they hit Creator because no one's using it, and they're trying to make it enticing for it to be used. But once again, it's too much bang for very little. I mean, too much sacrifice for very little gain. But now on to the Forbidden and Limited list. This is where things get spicy. As of November 6th, these cards are now limited to 1. Champion's Vigilance and Machine Angel Ritual. Now, once again, I believe Champion's Vigilance is on this list because of Red Eyes, because I don't see many decks that run Champion's Vigilance at all. If there are players still playing Blue Eyes, sure, except Red Eyes has a little more consistency than Blue Eyes at the moment. Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only other deck that probably has a Champion's Vigilance in the deck. Machine Angel Ritual, I feel like just like Pokemon goes through with Smogon and Pokemon Showdown, it's the new toy effect where it's like, we got new cards. These cards are freaking broken. Let's abuse it, and everyone hits the ladder using it. Like when I was recording the leader ladders, there was a lot of time gaps between episodes, especially the one between whatever Elite Four was to Ghost, because I was waiting for Marshadow to get banned, because Marshadow, once it got released, everybody and their mother was playing it. I cannot run into a match without having to face a Marshadow, and running a mono Ghost team that mono loses to that one Pokemon. There's no way that I can win and gain advantage over any deck, and it'll be any team, and it'll be very disheartening to record me getting tilted that hard when I'm trying to climb using gym leader gym leader teams. Wow, I'm really mixing up Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh right now, but that's what it is to me. I feel like it's a new toy effect. GX World came out, Cyber Angels became a thing, and it's the new toy. Everybody sees that it's amazing. It has non-destructive monster removal, it has really big beat sticks, it has recycling through draw power through the rituals, and Nankini grabbing cards from the graveyard. So it's a really good tool, it's a really good archetype, so everybody's gonna abuse it. No one cares about the weak spots, it's just too good. And now we're gonna limit the one card that they need, Machine Angel Ritual, though they do still have Absolute, but it makes making plays of the deck really difficult if you're just abusing Absolutes, and Absolutes doesn't give you any protection. So maybe the deck isn't completely dead, people would just start running more Absolutes, but I don't think that that's too good, because you can get Ida Benton out really easily, but Dankini, you definitely need a Sever Petite, and there's only 2 in the game, or you need to sacrifice another Dankini, or you need to find another way to get a 4 plus a 4 or a 6 plus a 2 to get Dankini out, and that's now making too much of it. Makes the deck go from really tight and concise to like having that little room for error, and that kind of messes up the deck. But once again, I feel like it's a new toy thing. Like I really do feel like it's a new toy thing. Also with Red Eye Spirit, as we scroll down here, it's now semi-limited to 2. This kind of also screws with Red Eye, since they only have 1 Vigilance now, running 2 Spirits. They can get their monster back, and they better hope that they can negate a summon right then and there, or else that Champion Vigilance is kind of wasted. These Spirits are kind of wasted. What this doesn't hurt too much is Red Eye Zombies, simply because that deck doesn't really need too many Spirits. I mean, 2 Spirits are fine, but they can get cards out of the grave through Wyvern. They can get cards out of the grave through, if they start running Ill Blood. I mean, they can get Red Eyes out of the grave through Ill Blood. It only takes 1 tribute, so if a monster gets floodgated on the field, cool. If it's a zombie monster, I can just tribute it from my zombie from the hand, and so on and so forth. There's other ways to get Red Eyes Zombie on the field rather than Red Eyes normal beat stick dragon. So I don't think that deck has got hit too hard, but when you really look at the differences between the 2 decks, it's clear that Red Eye Zombies wasn't going to get hit too crazy, because look, it requires 3 ultra rares in Gazuki, and you have to get 3 copies of those. You can get 3 copies of Wyvern, which is another ultra rare, in a really big box. You have to get 3 copies of a super rare in Red Eye Zombie. You have to get possibly 1 or 2 copies of Ill Blood, which is another super rare. Possibly 1 or 2 or 3 copies of Heavy Knight of the Flame, which is another super rare. You have to level up Bakura to get Goblin Zombie. Those are super rares, and it really takes a lot of grinding. It requires, like, you feel me? Like, the cards that you need for it kind of force you to go out of wallet, and I don't think Konami is going to try to stop that at all. If you look at all the cards that have been put on limited, or any card that's been limited, semi-limited, have all been cards that you can kind of easily get. I mean, Champion's Vigilance, you were able to get it from the SR tickets from PvP. Red Eye Spirit, also SR tickets from PvP. Also, they were roaming duelists, Super Joey, and you can also farm Champions Vigilance. Point being made, you didn't get these from packs, and nothing from a pack so far has been hit. So any decks that really rely on a card from the pack, or maybe a card from the card trader, which is Konami's way of trying to get you to spend some money to get these cards. Well, card trader not so much, because they do give us coins, gold, and we can get stones as many as we can through farming, etc, etc. But I don't think they're gonna hit anything in a pack anytime soon, unless we as players show that we can make a deck from the packs that are way too busted and way too centralizing purely from packs alone, that like you can have a 64-man tournament and everyone's running the exact same deck and it's Konami sanctioned. Maybe then they'll be like, all right, we need some versatility, we need to hit this card because that will destroy this deck, and then force people to run other types of decks. But at the moment, I feel like hitting Champions Vigilance and hitting Machine Angel Ritual only hurts literally 2 decks, and hitting those 2 decks kind of forces the rest of the people who wanted to play those decks to play other really interesting or create their own decks. Like I said in my video about the state of the meta and everything, this kind of incites people who are like bummed out by these cards getting hit. Hey, find a new deck to build. You feel me? Find the new cards. We got a new box coming soon. Find the new cards in that. Find cards from the old boxes. Fit them together. Make a deck. Go on PvP. Test it out. If you're in King of Games, perfect. Test it out, and then build the next deck that is disruptive. So maybe in 2-3 months, Konami's gonna be like, okay, that deck's a little centralizing. Who knows? You know, like, you gotta go out and do that, and that's what I intend to do. I intend to look at this new box with like completely open eyes and trying to see what works with what, and so on and so forth. I see like a normal monster engine in that new box that no one's really talking about. Of course, normal monsters aren't that great at the moment, but I want to see where it can go, and see where it can go with special summoning and so on and so forth, and yada yada yada. So that's where I'm going into this new box, with open eyes, trying to see what's good and what can I build. But with that being said, happy deck building. I gotta get going. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.